presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Southwest.
Last night, the rain and hail sent Rangers fans into the tunnels for protection. But before and after the storms, White Sox slugger Carlos Quentin sent the ball in the stands not once, not twice, but 3 times for his first career 3-home-run game. Today, it will be C.J. Wilson's assignment to silence Quentin's bat. Wilson has posted a stunning 14-4 record at home since the start of last season. The first-place Rangers look to take the series against the White Sox in a matinee affair right now on Fox Sports Southwest. About 12 and a half hours after last night's marathon, with a 3-hour rain delay wrapped up, the Chicago White Sox and the Texas Rangers prepare for the rubber game of this 3-game series. A couple of bleary-eyed ball clubs playing under cloudless skies this afternoon. We welcome you, Dave Barnett, in for John Radigan, who has the day off. Tom Grieve with us as always. And the more the season goes on, the more you realize that the strength of this Ranger ball club, top to bottom, really is in its starting pitching. C.J. Wilson is the ace of that staff, and he's no exception.
No, he is no exception, Dave, and he's really pitching right now pretty much like he did last year. He's been terrific. He had a tough start against Philadelphia. He pitched exceptionally well. He struck out 10 in the first 5 innings. He gave up a couple of home runs. He gave up a 2-run shot to Ben Francisco on a 3-1 changeup that normally doesn't get hit out of the ballpark. And then a solo shot to Raul Ibanez, who became the first left-hand hitter to hit a home run hit against him in almost 3 years. Strong performance, just didn't get any run support.
C.J. Wilson matched up with Gavin Floyd of the White Sox today. And Josh Hamilton, in his 2 games back off the disabled list, looks like he was never hurt for even a second. 5 for 9, including a long home run. Hamilton of the Rangers going for the second game of this 3-game series next on Fox Sports Southwest. Your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by Jack in the Box. Get the new Bourbon Barbecue Steak Grilled Sandwich now at Jack in the Box. Not a cloud in the sky. It's a little on the muggy side. 83 degrees as the Rangers take the field. Trying to take 2 out of 3 in their second series of the year against the Chicago White Sox. And here is the lineup for Ozzie Guillen today. Most of the same names from last night. Carlos Quentin moved from 5th to 3rd last night, and the results were spectacular. Ramon Castro getting the start in the day game after the night game behind the plate. And Brent Morrell, the rookie third baseman, already has been a Ranger killer this year. And C.J. Wilson coming off a hard-luck 3-2 loss Friday to Roy Halladay and the Phillies, despite a complete game, going for his 5th win of the year.
Yeah, and it's pretty much an extension from last season. He's had 10 starts. He's got a winning record, a solid ERA. The one thing that's an improvement from last year, his walks are down quite a bit. He led the league in walks last year. His walk totals are down pretty dramatically, really. 3 or fewer earned runs in 7 of his 10 starts. When he goes out there, he generally goes 7 or more innings. He generally is right in the ball game, giving his offense a chance to win. And with Josh and Nelly back in the lineup, his chances to get that offensive support have been increased a lot, which gives him more support and a much better chance to win ball games.
Here's how the Rangers line up defensively behind C.J. today. The outfield again, Cruz, Murphy, and Moreland. Michael Young again at first base, been playing very well there with Kinsler, Andrus, and Beltre. And it is Yorvit Torrealba, veteran catcher, coming right back after the late night affair. The Ranger defense still with the lowest fielding percentage and the most errors of any American League team. So we're set to go. CJ doing some last-minute groundskeeping on the mound, and Juan Pierre, the left fielder, ready to step in. And he looks at a strike down the middle. Pierre hitting .260. A hit last night was a bunt single. He scored a run and looks at strike 2. And Pierre also last night kind of reminded people that he is still a stolen base threat. He's still his first bag in 19 games. Lays off the Wilson slider, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pierre, one of the hot White Sox bats. This is a very streaky team, both in terms of the individuals that make it up and the team results as a whole. That one sends Pierre sprawling.
Yep, the good thing is it missed him. Last thing you want to do is get ahead in the count and then hit a potential base stealer. The White Sox got off to a terrible offensive start, but they've got some guys that can hit. And they've got some guys, as we saw last night, Carlos Quentin, who can hit the ball out of the ballpark too. And some teams that caught them early probably were lucky that the whole team was in a slump, but hard to imagine that'll be the case throughout the season, where they all go cold at the same time. I guess except for Paul Konerko.
A little more groundskeeping between pitches for Wilson. And a shot up the middle, off the mound, and out to Murphy in center field. A full count single for Juan Pierre.
Pierre is one of those guys who is cold, who's starting to swing the bat a little bit better. CJ way ahead in the count, got back to 3-2, and Pierre looking for a fastball, I'm sure, got one and drove it up the middle. Pierre has not stolen bases very well this year. He's below 50%, but CJ gives them up. Base runners are 9 for 10 against CJ, so I guess that evens things out.
Alexei Ramirez chops a foul at the plate. Ramirez hitting .274. Last night 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. He's 0 for 9 first 2 games of the series, and as you can see, 2 for 6 lifetime against CJ. Pierre at first, having extended what is now a 10-game hitting streak, and Ramirez runs up showing bunt and takes it 1 ball and 1 strike. Ramirez yet to have a stamp in this series. He is the reigning American League Player of the Week. His first weekly award of his 4-year career. He had 417 last week. Juan Pierre only 7 of 15 stealing this year. He's actually been thrown out more than he has been successful, but he leads all active base stealers. 534th of his career last night.
Yeah, I think when you look at what he did last year, he led the league in stolen bases last year, and dramatic fall off this year.
Last year he had 68, career high, and especially impressive since he is now getting up there in years. He will turn 34 in the middle of August this year.
Well, unless he's in a base stealing slump, might be seeing signs of the age creeping in this year. The Ranger catchers have been terrific throwing out base stealers, 43% total, and when CJ's not on the mound, it's 53%. Not many teams whose catchers throw out base stealers at the same rate that the Ranger catchers do. Napoli and Torrealba have been really good. Taylor Teagarden as well when he's in there.
Wilson, another throw over to first. CJ just not looking very comfortable on the mound right now. You can see some of the drying agent that was applied after a very wet night, to say the least, last night, and he's done some work with his hands and feet out in front of the rubber. He's thrown 10 pitches, only 5 have been strikes, and he again wants to keep Pierre as close to the bag as possible, as the Rangers hope for a double play grounder off the bat of Ramirez. He has hit into 8 double plays this year. That's the most on the roster, and that is just foul, drilled down the third base line. Maybe a foot from going over the bag and becoming, in all probability, at least a double. Tim McClellan right on the line as the third base umpire. And that one foul at the last instant. So still a 2-2 count on Ramirez. And this stays alive with another foul. Ramirez and then Quentin. Carlos Quentin, the story offensively of the game last night with his first 3 home run game of his career. Went into the game with 9, came out of it with 12, and 31 runs batted in. The 2-2 pitch, again grounded foul as Ramirez keeps getting out in front. In this case, it looked like the cut fastball from CJ, but it remains 2-2. And the White Sox early on succeeding in getting some deep pitch counts. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat, after Pierre is single on a 3-2 pitch. Finally a fair ball for Beltre. The out at second and at first. 5-4-3. Ramirez grounding into his 9th double play of the year.
And the best way to erase a high pitch count is to get 2 outs with 1 pitch. And it's pretty much the same type of swing and the same type of ball that Ramirez had been hitting on the foul balls, except he kept it fair. A little bit out in front of it, got on top of a ball that was sinking, turned into a tailor-made easy double play for the Rangers. And CJ now with 14 pitches, but he's got 2 outs. He had 13 pitches and nobody out.
So here is Quentin, and strike 1 to Carlos, who is now tied for 3rd in the American League with those 12 home runs. 28 extra base hits. That leads the league, and he sends that one a long way but foul, and it's quickly 0-2. Quentin's game last night, the first 3-homer game for Chicago since July 7th, 2009. Paul Konerko went deep against the Indians 3 times. Quentin drives him in bunches, tried to check his swing, and the foul ball keeps it no balls and 2 strikes. Quentin hit him all over the yard last night. They totaled 1,137 feet.
That one he hit to right field. He hit it well, and it got up in the jet stream. And there's not much room to hit one over the seats down there between the upper deck porch and the foul pole, but you don't see left-hand hitters hit him that far very often, and he shot one down the right field line over 400 feet with his own strength and a little help from the elements.
Best fastball yet, 93 miles an hour from Wilson, but outside, and it's 2-2. CJ coming off consecutive losses after he started the year 4-1. Outside again, and another full count. CJ in his last 5 outings has pitched no doubt better than his record will indicate. He's 1-3 with another no decision thrown in. But as we showed you, the thing about C.J. Wilson is when he starts, the Rangers generally win. Did he check his swing? He is out. A strikeout of Quentin. And Wilson ends up facing the minimum after the leadoff single by Pierre. Gavin Floyd ready to coming to bat now with this lineup for Ron Washington. Ian Kinsler set to lead off again, and his bat starting to come around. Andrews, Hamilton, Michael Young has been sizzling as the cleanup hitter, 372 so far in that role. Beltre Cruz back for his 3rd straight start off the DL. Murphy, Torrealba, and Moreland against 5-3 Gavin Floyd, his 10th start of the year with a 388 earned run average. And strike 1 to Kinsler.
He's had 9 starts, fewer hits than innings pitched, good walk totals, good strikeout totals, great strikeout to walk ratio. 2 or fewer walks in all 9 starts. He's going to throw strikes. He's got a solid fastball. Opponent's average. Right-hand batters hit lower than left-hand batters, but the left-hand batter is still only at 259. And he's got a good assortment of off-speed pitches, good breaking balls. He's a good, solid major league pitcher. Best year was a couple years ago, 2008. He won 17 games, had an ERA under 4. He's generally going to be a guy that's going to be around 190 or 200 innings.
That one is sky high and down the right field line. It is taken by Beckham. Just in fair territory. Kinsler out number 1 of the Rangers first. Floyd coming off a win Thursday, 8-2 over Cleveland. Still the best record in baseball. Very sharp outing, 7 innings, 1 run on 5 base hits. And now Andrews, big night last night, 2 hits, including a double, his first extra base hit in 21 games. And strike 1 to Elvis. Floyd now 28 years of age and trace his baseball heritage back to Mount St. Joseph's High School in Baltimore. At the top of the strike zone, no balls and 2 strikes. That is the same high school that produced Mark Teixeira. Floyd 3 years behind Teixeira, who went on to Georgia Tech. And they both ended up drafted in the 2001 draft with the 4th and 5th overall picks. So that had to be some kind of high school team they had going at Mount St. Joseph's in Baltimore.
Yeah, dominating hitter to dominating pitcher. That'll carry a long way in high school baseball.
And he gets Elvis reaching. Out number 2, first strikeout.
Floyd's fastball is about 90 to 92, and that cutter that he throws a little bit outside is an effective pitch for him. The mid to upper 80s cut fastball. He also has a good curveball. Hasn't thrown one yet, at least not a good one. As we said, he's got good command of his pitches. Only 15 walks in 60 innings.
Well, Josh Hamilton has enjoyed hitting Floyd over the years, as you saw, 6 for 7. And Josh with the average at 375, a homer, 9 runs batted in, and it is quickly 0-2. And Tom Floyd working both sides of the strike zone here, in and out.
Those last 2 pitches to Josh are 2 good, sharp curveballs, tight curveballs, not big looping curveballs, but hard, sharp breaking curveballs. There's another one that he misses with. And it does look like he tries to throw them in different locations.
Hamilton again, the DH today, but probably not too much longer. He'll be in the field, and that one will slice into the seats. Foul, still 1-2. Ron Washington saying before the game that Hamilton will shack some flies in pregame, and probably a couple days when Josh says he's ready to play the outfield, and all things approved medically, then that's when Wash will turn him loose. That one not deep at all to left center field, and the left fielder Juan Pierre is there, and the Rangers go in order in their half of the first inning. 0-0, White Sox and the Rangers.
out today? These guys having a good time? Break from school, right, huh? There we go. All right, let's talk about Community Corner. Ron Washington honored yesterday by Focus Award. What this is all about is dealing with a healthy lifestyle. The organization works with youth 8 through 16 years of age throughout Tarrant County, and the emphasis is on health and environment as well as arts. For those who are interested and want to learn out more about the Focus Awards, go to focusaward.org. That's focusaward.org. All right, Dave.
All right, Noxie. Strike one to Paul Konerko, hitting .299, 10 homers, 36 runs batted in. And the ball one just off the plate. See Konerko's numbers for the year. Last night, 1 for 5. He singled off Yoshi Tateyama, who made his major league debut for the Rangers in the 7th inning. That single came with 2 outs in the 7th inning, and 2 batters later he was doubled home by Alex Rios. Breaking ball hammered into the seats.
I thought it was a good opening outing for Yoshinori. He had a kind of a sneaky sidearm fastball, good breaking ball, sharp breaking ball that looked like it fooled the White Sox hitters a little bit, and then Konerko just kind of reached out and stroked a soft single to right. Arthur Rhodes came in and walked Dunn and then gave up the base hit to score a run.
Again, the Sox team full of very streaky players, and Konerko not on a very good one at the moment. Another full count, and C.J. Wilson now has gone full up to 3 of the first 4 Chicago hitters. The one who didn't get a full count was Ramirez, who hit into the 5-4-3 double play on a 2-2 count, so already 27 pitches. And ready for the 3-2 and a called strike 3.
I think CJ is at his best when he can throw in successfully to the right-hand hitters. He likes to throw sinkers. He likes to throw changeups tailing away. But when he can throw his fastball, or in that case his cutter, into the right-hand hitters, it keeps the right-hand hitters from leaning out over the plate, keeps them honest. And that's when CJ's at his best.
Back-to-back strikeouts, and strike one to Alex Rios. Rios only a .210 hitter so far this year. Last night a couple of hits, including an RBI double. 1 ball and 1 strike. And trying to go backdoor. Not quite enough snap to that curve. 2 balls and a strike. Rios in early May was really scuffling. And an easy play for Beltre for out number 2. Well, this Friday, when the Rangers host the Kansas City Royals, the whole family will enjoy a post-game fireworks show brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation, who reminds you to always buckle up. Get your tickets for Rangers baseball and fireworks set to the songs of summer at TexasRangers.com. 2 outs in the White Sox 2nd inning. The catcher today is Ramon Castro, as the veteran A.J. Pierzynski gets the day off today, at least the first part of the day off.
That's a rare off day for Pierzynski, who plays probably more frequently than most catchers. Castro, this will only be his 39th at bat.
This is his 11th start of the year, and he is down to the count 0-2. Marvin Hudson calling the balls and strikes today. Ted Barrett is at first. Brian Runge at second. Tim McClellan is at third. And the 0-2 pitch. Back foot slider. It's 1-2. It's impossible not to notice if you watch C.J. Wilson at all last year. And notice how that maybe the start of this game notwithstanding, he has become much more efficient with his pitches. His count now to 2 balls and 2 strikes. But you remarked on the decrease in his walk rate this year.
Yeah, and that can have a huge impact in the season if you cut down your walk rate like that. And strikeout rate is up there, walk rate is down.
He gets Castro on the back door. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 second inning for C.J. Wilson. Still scoreless. The bottom of the second inning. First, we welcome Emily Jones.
Well, guys, just like us, most of the Rangers got out of here anywhere between 2 and 2:30 this morning, and most were back up here anywhere between 9:30 and noon. Wash didn't make them get here until noon, but as you well know, baseball players, creatures of habit, so a lot of them trickled in long before that. Michael Young says it's all part of the game.
They didn't bother us. I mean, just, part of the gig up here is, not playing under ideal conditions, so not really that big a deal. Once the game starts, I'm sure everybody will be fine.
Michael's only misstep, he reloaded on Red Bull during the rain delay, so he found it hard to fall asleep once he did get home around 3 a.m., guys.
Ooh, serious error in judgment there. Not like the veteran that he is.
No, that's a rookie mistake.
Nothing but first pitch strikes so far by both Wilson and Floyd, and now 0-2 to Michael. And that 346 for Young, now second in the American League. Strange line last night. He was 0 for 1, but had 2 RBIs on sacrifice flies. First time in his career he's had 2 sac flies in the same game. This is 13th straight start at cleanup. And he looks at strike 3. Fastball nailed down outside corner at the knee. Second strikeout for Floyd.
He's doing a nice job of locating his pitches. That's, if it is a strike, and it is an unhittable strike, with a combination of well-located fastballs early, along with that cutter that he's throwing.
So far, Marvin Hudson with a fairly pitcher-friendly strike zone as Adrian Beltre steps up. And the first ball one we've seen from either pitcher so far today. Adrian at 255, 10 homers. Tied for 5th in the league, 38 runs batted in, second. And he hits a sky-high foul pop, circling and reaching for it. Konerko can't get it. It's into the second row.
If you go back into last season, over almost a full season of starts, Floyd has a 3.18 ERA. But if you look more recently, but still going back into last season a little bit, 8 of his last 16 starts have resulted in games where he's given up at least 4 earned runs. So over kind of a shorter period of time, he's either been really good or really bad. In fact, this year he's had a couple of starts where he gave up 6 earned runs. Just depends on which night you catch him. He's good more often than not, but occasionally, if he's not pitching well, you can put some numbers on the board.
Belted to center, but Rios ranging to his right with a good jump, and Beltre is out, number 2. Well, the Dallas Mavericks lead the Oklahoma City Thunder 3-1 with Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals coming up tonight. And Fox Sports Southwest will be there immediately following the game with Mavs Live with highlights and analysis. Fox Sports Southwest and Mavs Live, your home after each Western Conference Finals game. Mavericks try to finish that thing off tonight. Breaking ball to Nelson Cruz, who had 1 hit in 5 trips last night, a double. He also struck out twice. And Cruz has my utmost admiration today, because he said before the game he actually got 8 hours of sleep.
8? How did he do that?
That's not fair.
He must have been sleeping in the car on the way home.
He lives pretty close to the ballpark. That was a factor.
He probably got here maybe like 10 minutes before game time.
Oh, actually a little earlier than that.
Good for him. He must be a good sleeper. Put his head down and fall asleep. Most of us can't do that.
And taking all the way at 3-0. Well, Cruz, in his return on Monday night, announced that he had regained his timing with a 2-run home run, and that one is going to be a foul ball. Floyd grabbing it before it could go back fair.
Well, that sure looked like he grabbed it while it was fair. It looked like it was on the chalk. It looked like the foul line was going to make it continue to roll toward the pitcher's mound. That thing's on the chalk.
Yeah, some chalk definitely flew, and here's the much better angle.
That's close. I can't really tell. Yeah, I gotta defer to Marvin Hudson. He's the one that was right on top of it. But it was very close. And even if it was on the chalk, it was a better chance for Floyd to get the call, because he wasn't going to make the play anyway.
Oh, and Cruz goes after ball 4. Completely fooled with the breaking ball. Another 3 up and 3 down inning. 3 strikeouts for Gavin Floyd, and we are scoreless through 2. This could save you 15% on car insurance. And by AT T. Bottom third of the Chicago order against C.J. Wilson in the 3rd inning. Both pitchers have faced the minimum. The only base run of the game, Juan Pierre, with a leadoff single, and he was immediately erased on a double play ball off the bat of Alexei Ramirez. CJ went first pitch strike to the first 6 Chicago hitters before throwing ball 1 to Brent Lillickbridge, getting the start in right field today. And he sends that one not too deep into right center field, and the right fielder Moreland grabs out number 1.
Dave, you keep the pitch counts. Is that the quickest out for CJ right there? A 2-pitch out?
By far.
Wow. That's nice to see.
Yeah, we were talking about he's become much more efficient. That's the single best improvement that Ron Washington sees in his game compared to last year. Not nibbling quite so much, not trying to be so fine as to throw the perfect pitch every time out, because his stuff is plenty good with enough movement on it to be able to challenge the hitters and encourage contact.
And that pretty much comes back to the baseball cliche that you hear a lot: trust your stuff. You don't have to be pinpoint accurate all the time if you've got, as you said, good stuff with good movement, and in CJ's case, a wide assortment of pitches. It's not like you can, as a hitter, narrow him down to 1 or 2 pitches. He's got a lot of different ways to get you out, and he varies the speed of all his pitches too. Fastball might be 92, it might be 87, might be 93, like it was right there. And that really is the art of pitching, disrupting the timing of the hitter. And if you can do that, you're going to be successful.
Most of the time, Wilson very good at that. And he gets a strikeout coming in on the fists of Beckham, who had a hat trick last night. 3 strikeouts. Strikeout number 4 already for CJ.
Yeah, I think the thing about Beckham, at least in this series from what we've seen, is he's having a hard time hitting the fastball. And, you know, for a young hitter, most young hitters get to the big leagues because they can hit a fastball, and then they either adapt or learn how to adjust to breaking balls. But when you're struggling to hit the fastball, you're going to see a lot of fastballs. It's the pitch that a pitcher can throw where he wants for a strike the best. And if he senses that you're having trouble hitting a fastball, you're going to see a lot of them. And at least in this series, we haven't seen Beckham play that much, but at least in this series, he has struggled to hit the fastball. Now, he's seen some pretty good fastballs, too. Alexei Agado's was mid-90s. Derek Holland early in the game was low 90s. CJ's low 90s. So it's not like he's seeing soft tossers. He's seeing some pretty good fastballs.
Trying to get the outside corner there and just missed. And 3 balls and no strikes. Of course, strike 3 to Beckham looked like one of the best cutters of the year for CJ. Tremendous boring in action in on his fists, and Morel taking all the way. 3 balls and a strike.
He's gotten a couple of strikeouts in that location with that pitch. And again, that, I think, is when CJ's at his best, when he has that location and that pitch working for him.
Works away again, and the count fills up. Morel, the rookie, whose home run was a 3-run shot last Tuesday in Chicago, breaking up a terrific game by Matt Harrison. Another strikeout. Another 1-2-3 inning for Wilson. He has struck out 5 through 3. And we remain 0-0 in Arlington. Well, this week, Fox Saturday Baseball is back in primetime as Alex Gordon leads the Kansas City Royals here to Arlington to take on Michael Young and the Rangers. This week's telecast of Fox Saturday Baseball in primetime begins at 6 p.m. Central. And if you can't get enough of Tom Grieve here on Fox Sports Southwest, and that's a silly compliment to begin with. Who can get enough of Tom Grieve? But you'll be with Ryan Lefevre of the Royals on that telecast.
I would say most people that fall into that category are my demographic, probably the over 60 group.
And your relatives.
That's who I relate to the best.
And your family.
And my family, yep. That's a good point. Speaking of my demographic, I've got some people to say hello to. Two longtime Ranger fans, Dorothy and Wayne Evans. Both have been battling through some health challenges, but they watched the games. Watching today in Irving, Texas. They're neighbors of Steve Weller, our official scorekeeper. He wants to send his greetings to both of you. Also want to say hi to Evelyn Franklin. She lives in Wills Point, Texas. I believe Evelyn's in the hospital right now watching the game. Hope you're doing okay, Evelyn.
Off Beckham and into short right, and Murphy takes a big turn but decides to hold it first. The first Ranger base runner leading off the bottom of the third.
But Beckham hasn't made an error yet. I'm not sure if that's an error or base hit. We'll find out. In fact, Steve Weller's going to let us know. But I think of all the Ranger hitters in the last 3 weeks, David's got the most line drives that have been caught with dives or reaches, and he's due for a break here and there. Got a blooper the other night, but that doesn't make up for all the tough ones that have been caught.
That is E4, and for Gordon Beckham, it ends 59 consecutive errorless games dating back to last August 27th. And there goes Murphy. Torrealba swinging and fouls it into the club section. Watch this first bounce right there. Might have thrown Beckham off just enough. If that had been ruled a hit, then you could say, if you're the official scorer, that was more than routine effort required to get that out. Torrealba hits that one deep. Rios loses sight of it, and it bounces off the top of the wall for a ground rule double. Murphy turns and gets the bad news from the umpire Ted Barrett making that call, and he'll have to return to third base.
Well, Torrealba gave that ball a pretty good ride. Might have gotten a little bit of help, but there's not a real strong wind blowing in. I'd call it more of a breeze. But it definitely fooled Rios. Rios, I think, thought he was going to be able to run underneath this ball. He gets turned around, he looks, gets turned around again, and then reaches Willie Mays-like right over his shoulder, but he can't quite get to it. It takes a hop that prevents a run from scoring, but it's still second and third and nobody out with the infield back, so he got a great chance to get those runs in anyway, that run in anyway. Hard hit ball for Torrealba, though.
Yeah, your beat started to come around. He had a double last night. That was his first extra base hit since April 30th. And now the ground rule double here, and Mitch Moreland steps up with 2 in scoring position and looks at strike one. Mitch hitting .279, 5 homers. He's driven in 15. And, the real oddity about his season is his average with runners in scoring position is not that impressive, but he has driven in 7 game-winning runs batted in, including Sunday in Philadelphia against Roy Oswald. That's one behind the major league leader with 8, Torrey Hunter. So Mitch able to pick his spots pretty well. 1 ball and 1 strike. Floyd to look at Murphy, who reached on the error by the second baseman Beckham. And Moreland with a notion, but lets that go by high. 2 balls and a strike. Where Mitch last night made a real veteran play after a leadoff walk in the 8th against Matt Thornton. Went to first to third on a Kinsler base hit. And the key was a deke that convinced the center fielder Rios that he was going to stay at second base. He delayed just a bit, then kept on running to third. And I asked Mitch before the game, was that a dig? Did you do that deliberately? And he said, well, maybe. Might have. Obviously he did.
Tell you what, I'm betting he didn't, but if he says he did, I'll go with him on that.
He not only says he did, he got the idea by watching Miguel Cabrera do it to J.D. Drew a few days ago.
Then that is some kind of veteran move right there. It did not occur to me that that was on purpose.
If that's fair, it's trouble, and it's foul by a foot. A foot away from a 2-0 Ranger lead right there.
He also had one of the better at-bats of the season against Chris Sale. Side-arming it up there at about 97 miles an hour with a hard slider. Battled through a 3-2 count and then hit a line shot off the right field wall. So a couple of veteran moves for young Mitch last night. At bat and on the bases. And Miguel Cabrera wouldn't be my first choice as someone to emulate on the bases, but
that was my first thought there. Foul ball, barely able to stay alive. That went off the catcher Castro. May need a moment or two to walk it off.
It does come back to a truism in baseball. Speed doesn't determine what kind of base runner you are. It obviously helps. But the way that you run the bases, the instincts on the bases, your aggressiveness, taking the extra base, getting a good jump, knowing the pitcher. The know-how is just as important, maybe more important than the speed and being a good base runner.
Well, what was not surprising about it is that Mitch Moreland just seems to handle every situation that comes up well beyond his years.
I would definitely agree with that.
His work in the postseason, really the most consistent Ranger hitter, definitely the best in the World Series after Josh Hamilton cooled down. Impervious to pressure, quick learner, lots of physical skills. Really looks more and more the complete package. And has stretched this out to at least an 8-pitch at bat. Floyd now ready to throw his 42nd pitch. And high stress pitches they are here in the third, trying to keep it scoreless. Hit well to center field. Rios will have room, and that will bring Murphy home on the sacrifice fly. Torrealba to third, and the Rangers take a 1-0 lead.
Well, while Mitch was at bat, we have plenty of time to sing the virtues of some of the nice parts of his game last night. And while we were talking about that, Dave, he has another good at bat right there. Saw a lot of pitches from a tough pitcher who mixed up his pitches, gave him a little bit of everything. And so with second and third and 2 outs, not only did he bring the run home, he hit it deep enough to move the runner at second to third, where he can now score on a sacrifice fly. So nice at bat all the way around.
Now the top of the order again at Ian Kinsler, who began the game with a pop-up to second base. And rips that one past Ramirez with the infield playing in. The angles not playing out very well for Alexei Ramirez on that hot shot. And Torrealba makes it a 2-0 game. RBI number 18 for Ian.
Well, Dave, you were talking about Torrealba starting to get some base hits, starting to swing the bat better. Ian is also starting to do the same thing. That's the 4th line shot that he's got to left field in these 3 games. He had 2 base hits, including a double the first game. He had a rope to left field last night, and here's another one. And that's a good sign. All of those 4 balls, all those 4 hits were hit right on a line, right off the good part of the bat. And so it really looks like Ian's starting to come around with a bat as well.
Well, Elvis shoots that one into the stands.
Well, and maybe it's not a coincidence. There's no way of knowing, but all along you hear Ron Washington and others talk about getting Josh, getting Nelly back in the lineup. Not only adds because of their performance, it adds based on what they do for the rest of the lineup. And there's no way of knowing, but maybe it's not a coincidence that those 4 line drives by Ian and a couple of well hit balls by Yorvit have something to do with different spots in the lineup, opportunities that are created, the way you look at it mentally when Josh and Nelly help take the pressure off the offense. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
Well, Elvis tried to bunt and fouls it off, so now no balls and 2 strikes. Bluff at first. Nice pick.
Nice play
by Castro. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the hit for Kinsler. One more thing that the Rangers have been sorely lacking over the last couple of weeks now, and that is a hit with a man in scoring position. They have had entire games go by where they couldn't come up with one. Kinsler back at first base. So you knew that could not possibly continue, especially once the missing parts were added back into the offense.
Now that tends to go in cycles, and generally guys are good hitters, mediocre hitters.
Pitch out, throw by Castro is not in time.
Well, you have to have good speed and a good jump to beat that throw. He beat that throw. Ozzy's going to come out and talk about it. But from our vantage point, that's a good call by Brian Runge. His hand got in there before the call. You know, you're talking about hitting with men in scoring position. Very few guys over the course of their career have a dramatically different average with men in scoring position than their regular average. It does go in streaks. Good look at Ian. Good jump, good speed, good slide, and he's safe at second. There's a perfect camera angle.
Boy, that sure is.
Yeah, there's your answer. We don't have to say anything. Just look at that. You know why he's safe.
Bill throw right on it. Too bad Ozzie Guillen couldn't have seen that shot. Kinsler now 10 of 12 stealing and diving in behind Ramirez. He was ready to take a throw.
Yeah, there's some daylight there. The runner in scoring position average fluctuates quite a bit because you don't have that many opportunities. Like early in the season, you go 2 for 4, your average goes up 20 points. So the same with runners in scoring position. All it takes is a couple of hits with runners in scoring position to dramatically change your average. Rangers just went through a bad streak of that. Some of it had to do with the nice pitching they were seeing too.
Shortstop Ramirez as Kinsler advances to third. Andrews hitting behind the runner. Out number 2, and that brings up Josh Hamilton.
Last shout out I'd like is Colina and Frank Canfield. They're from Corsicana. They're avid watchers. A big highlight of their quiet lives, Frank writes, is the games that they watch, watching their favorite team, the Rangers. Colina, by the way, used to pitch for Franklin High School girls softball team. They won a district championship. Gets Josh to chase a pitch in the dirt. And Frank was on the men's all-church softball team in Dallas. Colina and Frank Canfield. Thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks for being such great Ranger fans.
Hamilton, first time up, flied out to left field. He is now 5 for 10 in his return. And against Gavin Floyd, he is now 6 out of 8. 2 of those hits doubles. And Hamilton, one of the better numbers you'll ever see for an entire career with runners in scoring position, up there 350. Trying to reach the high fastball that time. Floyd climbing the ladder a little bit. 1 and 2. Very difficult third inning for Floyd, trying to limit the damage here to 2 runs, and Hamilton just flips that one foul into the club section. Well, if you're hitting the road, take the Rangers with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.TV today, and you can see every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit TexasRangers.com to order and get more details. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Floyd continues to work up in the strike zone to Josh. Too high there, 2 and 2. Up again, and the count is full. Well, the crowds continue to be just outstanding. It's the day game audiences topping 30,000.
Yeah,
something that we just are not used to seeing here.
We'll have over 100,000 for the 3 games.
On the ground, and Beckham makes this routine play after starting the inning with an error, allowing Murphy to reach. He ended up scoring one of the 2 runs on 2 hits, and it's 2-0 Texas.
Hey, Dave, it was Wildlife Education Day here at the ballpark, and Sean Green with the Dallas Zoo brought some of the main attractions. That is the alligator, the penguin, and the owl. The kids loved it.
Unbelievable. A couple thousand kids showed up from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. A great partnership with the Texas Rangers and the Dallas Zoo. We had a lot of fun today.
All right, what's new at the zoo?
Unbelievable. The new Savannah anniversary, 1-year anniversary of our Giants at the Savannah exhibit. Come out and feed a giraffe, or come out and see the world's largest land mammal, the African elephant, this weekend.
All right, this alligator, I don't like the way he's looking at me. I really don't.
He likes you.
Okay, how you doing there? Okay. Dave.
All right, Doxy. Stay safe over there. 0-2 to Juan Pierre, who singled to lead off the game.
There's the penguin, and there's Ranger Captain. The penguin did not like the horse.
Doesn't see too many horses, I wouldn't think, down in Antarctica.
He didn't back away from it.
Captain's a pretty big target, too. Pierre, Ramirez, and Quentin top of the order against Wilson. And the little dribbler keeps it alive at 1-2. Back to our friend the Penguin. Not very long strides, but he can get from point A to point B pretty quickly. And again goes after Captain. Oh, parting shot. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. First 3 innings, Wilson allowing only 1 base runner. That was Pierre, and this one tracked down by Elvis Andrus. It is 9 in a row set down by CJ.
Well, he got off to a little bit of a shaky start. Pierre had a base hit. He's had about 13 pitches with Alexei Ramirez, and he got him to hit into a double play. And since that time, it's been smooth sailing.
Ramirez hit into a 5-4-3 double play following the first inning single by Juan Pierre. And boy, the way the scores have been in Ranger games, a 2-0 lead looks pretty huge, especially the way this rotation continues to shape up. As we discussed at the beginning of the telecast, starting pitching really has developed into, at this point, the strong point of this Ranger team. And the offense, no doubt, will do some catching up with Hamilton and Cruz back. But the last time through the rotation for the Rangers, just outstanding. All 5 starters. Left field. Cruz looks up with room on the edge of the track.
But just enough off it at 86 miles an hour for him to hit it off the end of the bat.
The top 4 starting pitching earned run averages are all in the American League West. The A's a cut above everybody else. And then the Mariners, the Angels, and the Rangers. And before last night, when Derek Holland gave up 4 runs in his 4 innings, the starters in May had a collective ERA of 2.67. Quentin thrown out by Beltre. Another 1-2-3 inning turned in by C.J. Wilson. 11 White Sox in a row set down. 2-0 Rangers. Time to ask our AT&T trivia question for this afternoon. Now stay with us on this one. In the original rules of baseball, if an umpire did not see if the catch was made, what procedure did he follow to make the call? We're talking original rules. That means 19th century rules.
Let's see. He guessed.
Well,
he asked the fielder himself and counted on him being honest. He asked the guy.
Close.
He asked the guy that hit it.
You were closer with your first guess.
He took a poll of all the fans at the ballpark. Raise your hand.
You're very close now.
Whoa, let's keep going then.
I could not
turn to the press box and ask all the sports writers.
He was never that desperate. 1-2 to Young. But I was astounded when I heard the answer to this question.
I'm going to keep quiet then. It might be a crazy answer. I might get it by luck. So
well, just quiet. In today's world, you can't ever imagine that this was actually the procedure. Opposite field bid by Michael, tracked down by Lillibridge. Michael is 0 for 2, and check our Ford leaderboard. You see where Michael Young stacks up. 3rd in the majors with a .346 average. Right there with Lance Berkman, who was very convinced during the offseason, if I recall correctly, that The Rangers last year were a flash in the pan.
Yeah, was that the reason he used for not having any interest in the Rangers, or he just was talking about baseball and happened to mention that?
Not sure of the context, but
well, to Lance's credit, he's come back and had a great year. He's a good kid, always has been, great player. Struggled a little bit recently, but I don't know of anybody that doesn't wish him the best. I hope he comes back and has another fine year. It looks like he's on his way to doing it.
Well, there were some people in Houston who were pretty convinced that he was done. Obviously, he's not. Beltre thrown out by Beckham. Adrian is 0 for 2. Visit your local Lowe's to cast your MLB All-Star ballot and enter to win a trip to the All-Star Game. Compliments of Scott's. All-Star Game at Chase Field in Phoenix this year. Well, here's Nelson Cruz, who struck out his first time up. Much easier fourth inning for Gavin Floyd than the 28-pitch third. He threw half his pitches to that point in the game in the third inning. Not helped at all by the fact that the leadoff hitter Murphy reached on an error by Beckham. And the ground rule double by Torrealba, sac fly by Moreland, RBI single by Kinsler. Sky high foul territory. And Konerko. A 1-2-3 fourth inning. Nice recovery by Gavin Floyd. 2-0 Texas. Splittorff passed away, having suffered from melanoma. Paul Splittorff, one of the most prominent members of the Kansas City Royals throughout their history, and joined by Steve Busby, former teammate and roommate of Paul. What are your memories going to be?
Well, Dave, Paul Splittorff was an outstanding pitcher, and he was the mainstay of the Kansas City teams from their inception, really, until the mid-'80s. And Split, alongside being an outstanding pitcher, was a better man and my best friend for 38 years. I have nothing but great memories of Split, and God bless him and keep him.
A very difficult loss. And the entire Kansas City Royals family, no doubt, in mourning, and they will be for some time to come. Paul Konerko leading off the fifth inning for the White Sox. 2 balls and no strikes. Konerko struck out looking his first time up. One of 5 strikeouts for C.J. Wilson. Wilson working on a string of 11 straight retired since the leadoff single in the first by Juan Pierre. What are you seeing from C.J. today?
Well, he's getting a little more economical. He had a lot of deep counts the first 5, 6, 7 hitters, but it's gotten a lot better. Good change of speeds. Shows you a little athletic ability there.
Oh,
little backhand flip.
That might have been the only way he could make that play.
I don't
know what else he could have done.
I think you're right.
If he turned all the way around, he might have been faced with the prospect of hitting Konerko right in the back. This will give us a good shot of it. Nice little play.
Well, that would have been okay if he'd hit Konerko, because Konerko was out of the running lane anyway.
Yeah, he was.
But if you're going to hit him hard.
That's what Billy Martin used to tell the pitchers. If you see him inside that line, drill him right in the back.
That's right.
With your best fastball. Just don't miss him. It's a free shot.
Slow runner, thickest infield grass in the American League combining there. Rios retired by Moreland on one pitch. And after throwing 21 first inning pitches, boy, there is the economical work since the first by Wilson.
You know, and I think, Dave, watching CJ work today, he's using the aggressiveness that the White Sox naturally have against him now. He's shown the ability to throw enough strikes. He's established in their minds that, hey, I'm going to throw a lot of strikes, so they're swinging early in the count, and they're still at his pitches.
And that is now 11 out of 15 first pitch strikes. Castro struck out his first time up.
13 batters retired in a row, 14 outs because of the double play.
Well, as you think that the Rangers staff now is to the point they're all pitching so well that this can turn into a positive internal competition.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Can you top this type thing?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Dave. And I know that Derek Holland was probably as disappointed for that very reason in his performance last night as he was that the Rangers lost the ballgame. You know, he wanted to keep that string of consecutive quality starts, shutouts, whatever he was thinking. He wanted to keep that alive because he didn't want to have to go back in and face the rest of the starters and have them hoot on him a little bit, which they probably waited until today to do. But
yeah, I think they had getting home as soon as possible on their mind last night.
Yeah, we'll save the chastising for a little bit later in the day.
There's plenty of time for that.
But I think that's a great thing. You know, I think that that's part of that, whether it's hitting or pitching, is contagious. That idea that I want to do one better than the guy before me if he did real well.
Behind Castro 3-1, but gets a ground ball and a 360 spin and a high strike pulled down by Michael Young. Andrews forcing Young to stretch 100%, and he just brings it in to continue the string. Now 14 straight retired by Wilson. Trademark 360 spin move by Elvis. Ooh, Michael barely on the bag. procedure. The umpire would confer with fans and players. Can you, for the life of you, imagine that working in modern-day baseball?
I think he'd have a hard time with the fans, because wouldn't they tend to favor the home team a little bit?
I think they might.
That would be a real home field advantage. Yeah.
But we're talking 1876. So obviously a very different world back then.
Maybe they were more honorable back then than we are today.
Must have been.
Maybe they took pride in getting it right.
David Murphy reaching on a Beckham error, leading off the third inning, ended up scoring the first of the 2 Ranger runs, the only runs in this game. On deck, Torrealba, who contributed a ground rule double. And again, Beckham called on to make a very similar play, and he executes it with no problem here. The Home Depot presents doing more on defense. This last play of the last inning. Pulled Michael Young off the bag. Did he recover in time to beat the runner?
I say yes, because that's what Ted Barrett said. Looked like he's off the base and had to come back and tag it right before Castro got there.
I think that next to last angle was the definitive one. Strike one to Torrealba. Maybe your Veet ready to take off. He has been stone cold for the better part of a month, but double in consecutive games as his average. Up some 6 points today to 219. There have been only 3 base hits combined in this game. Good curve from Floyd. 1 and 2, and both the Ranger hits were in the third. And Buzz, the Rangers were able to come through with an RBI with a man in scoring position.
Yeah,
a rare occurrence of late.
It's kind of carry over from last night, I think, Dave. I was really encouraged by what I saw from the Ranger offense last night, even though it was in a losing effort. You know, a dozen hits, and it's been a while since up and down the order we've seen anything resembling normal production. So, you know, that was the other side of the coin when you get Josh and Nelly back, is that I thought everybody else would kind of settle back into their normal routines, become the hitters that we expected. And I think we saw a lot of that last night.
Last night ended up actually this morning, 8-6 loss. The game took 3 hours and 21 minutes. Add in a 2-hour, 58-minute rain delay, and we were here almost 1:30 in the morning. Torrealba strikes out. 4th strikeout for Gavin Floyd. On Sunday, NASCAR on Fox moves to Charlotte, where Kurt Busch will try to defend his title and take home his 3rd checkered flag of the year. Coverage of the Coca-Cola 600 begins Sunday with the pre-race show delivered by Pizza Hut at 4:30 p.m. in high definition on Fox. 2 gone in the Ranger 5th. Here is Mitch Moreland, who drove in the first of the 2 third-inning runs with a sacrifice fly, his 16th RBI of the year. Good backdoor curve. Gavin Floyd, except for those moments in the 3rd inning, Buzz, has been almost as sharp as C.J. Wilson's.
Yeah, he can be pinpoint at times. I know the Rangers, for the most part, have had fairly good success hitting against him, but this guy's got good enough stuff that when his command is where it can be, and that's dicing up the strike zone, he can be tough. Kind of a herky-jerky little short arm motion, which has to be hard to pick up for the hitters.
In some ways, it's a similar motion to Alexi Ogando's, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of the short arm aspect.
Yeah, and Floyd probably throws as hard as Ogando, just doesn't get there as fast.
Wait a minute. Throws as hard?
I shouldn't do that after such a late night.
In other words, the effort to throw the ball fast is the same.
Right.
It just doesn't get there as fast. Well, you and I could go down there and throw just as hard, too, but ours might not get to home plate.
No, it wouldn't. No, mine wouldn't. Yours might.
Belted but foul.
One thing for sure, if we both went down there and threw it as hard as we could, we'd be on the DL.
Yeah, it'd only last one time.
Be one shot. How many surgeries have you had on your shoulder?
On my shoulder?
Or both, shoulder, elbow?
5.
5?
Yeah, they still haven't got it right. But yeah, Dr. Conway, who did the last one, did the last 3, as a matter of fact, said, I don't want to see you anymore. And I said, believe me, the feeling's mutual. Nothing personal, but, you know, enough's enough. Yeah, it's. I'm not real bright when it comes to using repaired parts.
Like you try to go out and throw batting practice and stuff like that?
Yeah. And he...
Maybe what Dr. Conway's saying is you're a bad patient.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, what he was up, he just doesn't like the follow-up after.
Yeah, what he was saying very tactfully was that I'm an idiot. So...
A sharp single to center by Mitch Moreland.
And Floyd's throwing him everything he's got. Every pitch, every location, and Mitch is up there battling. Last time, long at bat resulted in a long sacrifice fly. This time he hits looks like a pretty good changeup, tailing down and away. He lines it sharply up the middle.
So he's aboard with 2 outs, and Ian Kinsler will bat for the 3rd time. He's popped to second. Last time up, singled in Torrealba. And that is still the most recent run in this game. It made it 2-0. Ian's 18th RBI, and he followed it up by stealing second base on a pitch out. Now, how impressive was that?
Well, Castro, the catcher, came up and looked like he was just running through the spring training drills throwing to second base. Took his time, made a good, accurate throw. Unfortunately, Ian was running like he was in season.
Just outside, 2 balls and no strikes. I guess 3 days ago it was that Ron Washington saw how frustrated Kinsler was becoming with himself and went over and interrupted Ian being frustrated with himself and said, you know, half jokingly, Ian, looks like you could use a hug. And it's amazing how that seems to have taken the pressure off of Ian, because since then he's had nothing but good at bats.
Sure. Yeah, and you're right. You know, since he's gotten back to that leadoff spot, since Josh and Nelly have gotten back in, I think he's refound his comfort zone.
Goes after the 3-0 pitch, sends Lillibridge back to the warning track, but he's got it for out number 3. Buzz, we appreciate it.
I will talk to you all a little bit later on.
Sounds good, Buzz.
For the Rangers of the 5th, no runs, a hit, a man left, and it's still 2-0. Hands play. C.J. Wilson with that little backhand flip. On the dribbler by Konerko that had stopped dead in the thick infield grass here at the ballpark. At the first out of the 5th inning, another 1-2-3 inning for Wilson. He threw only 10 pitches, and he starts Lillibridge with strike 1. Our Corona line score right there, only 4 hits total. Rangers got 2 of their 3 when they scored their runs in the 3rd inning.
The White Sox came on the first batter of the game. They haven't had a base runner since then.
Pitch number 74 is a breaking ball away.
Dave, I'm a little late with my culinary shout-outs today, so I'm going to start pecking away at them since it was a pretty big day. I want to thank Caden and Collier LaFontaine for the nice box of cookies they sent.
Moreland just about in his tracks, and that's 15 consecutive White Sox hitters set down by Wilson. Let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, in center field, I'm with the Trinity High stat class of the teacher Amy. What's this all about? Why you're at the ballpark?
Well, we had a unit where we learned how to calculate slugging and batting averages, so we thought we'd come out here and verify some of the stats y'all got going on.
Okay, how do you calculate that?
Slugging average is very similar to a GPA. You get 4 points for a home run, 3 for a triple, 2 for a double, 1 for a single. Add it all up, divide by the number of at-bats, and there's your slugging average.
There we go. You pass the test. Here's the sign that will Chicago win? Oh, hell. Like hell from last night. Oh, hell no. Get it, guys. Get that? Okay. Way to go. Good to have you out here. All right. Trinity High stat class.
Pizza! Pizza! Pizza!
A lot of spirit here.
Pizza! Pizza! Pizza!
Energetic group.
Love it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Gordon Beckham. C.J. Wilson just dealing now. 15 straight retired, and that streak comes to an end. The first hit for the White Sox since the first batter of the game, Juan Pierre singled. 1 on, 1 out here, the 6th, and let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, you talked about the offensive reinforcements that made their way back to the lineup this week. The pitching reinforcements are still a ways away. Scott Feldman pitched 5 2/3 innings in Round Rock last night, gave up 8 hits, 4 runs. He's back here to throw a bullpen in front of the big league coaches and then revise his plan from there. They are continuing to stretch him out as a starter, but of course where he'll be used will depend on the timing of his return. Meantime, Tommy Hunter also threw a bullpen today. He said he was throwing at just about 70%, still some apprehension with that grown, through about 30 pitches.
Yeah, Scott Feldman before the game telling me he is paid free, and he thinks next time out he can get over 100 pitches. 96 pitches last time.
That's a double play.
In and out of the glove of Andrews. They still turn it. 6-4-3 off the bat of Brent Morrell. And again, Wilson faces the minimum 3 as he has in every inning so far. He gave up his second hit, but immediately that is erased for the handiwork of Andrews, Kinsler, and Young. Slam inning brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Today's jackpot worth an even $200 plus dinner for two at a Sonic Drive-In. And the Rangers are hitting for Karen McDougal from Garland. If the Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Karen McDougal from Garland will win $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. Elvis Andrus, after triggering the inning-ending double play, leads off the bottom half of the sixth inning. 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded to short. Fouls off the first pitch. Talking with Omar Vizquel before the game yesterday. Of course, 2 years ago, Elvis's mentor. I asked him what he thought of Elvis in year 3, and he says he just loves watching him. He's so impressed with the poise that he showed during the postseason last year, and especially the World Series. So he sees poise beyond his years, and he thinks that Elvis really is already at the elite shortstop level. He sees lots of Gold Gloves, All-Star games for years to come. Barely diving out of the way of that.
I want to thank our friends Russ and Melody Nickel. Beautiful feast, the barbecue feast today. Thank you, Russ. Thank you, Melody. Also, Jeff Qualis. He's our cameraman. In fact, he had that great shot of Ian going into second base. He's Hawaiian born, and he brought some poi today, which is a starch that everyone tried, most of us for the first time. Thank you for that, Jeff. I want to thank Calvin and Celeste Little Creek. Celeste brought the Vernon National Honor Society from Vernon High School, and also a great jar of Texas Wild Plum Jelly. Thank you very much for that.
Floyd deals and strikes out Elvis on a foul tip. Castro hangs on to it. 5th strikeout for Gavin Floyd.
Yeah, that's a good curveball that Floyd has. He's got a cutter and a curveball. 2 excellent off-speed pitches. One a little harder than the other. This is a hard, sharp breaking curveball for strike 3. He's also got a good fastball that he tunes up there at about 92 miles an hour. And he's had a good game today. He's off to a good start this season.
Here's Hamilton, who was flied to left and grounded to second. Josh now 5 for 11 in his return from the disabled list. And yet to extend a 10-game hitting streak, which is the longest active streak in the American League. Hot shot there, right at Ramirez, out number 2. Well, this season, Sundays are for kids here at Rangers Ballpark. Bluebell Ice Cream Sundays always provide ice cream for kids for just $1. And this Sunday, the first 10,000 kids, 13 and under, will receive a Texas Rangers pool float. Reserve your seats at TexasRangers.com. White Sox this afternoon wrapping up the 3-game series. Ball 1 to Michael Young. An off day tomorrow, the first in 2 weeks for the Rangers, and then the Kansas City Royals in for 3. 7:05 on Friday, 6:10 on Fox Saturday, and 2:05 back here on Fox Sports Southwest on Sunday afternoon. Friday night, as usual, TXA 21 telecast. And after that, back out on the road, and the Rangers have an ALDS rematch Monday through Wednesday next week at Tampa Bay. That'll be a challenging road trip. 3 with the Rays, 4 at Cleveland. Tampa Bay currently 1 game back of the Yankees in the East. Cleveland 6 games up on the Central. Young grounds out. And another 1-2-3 inning turned in by Gavin Floyd. Through 6, 2-0 Rangers. Ford Southwest brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. 2-0 Texas as we arrive in the 7th inning. Not a cloud in the sky. What a difference from last night. Huge crowd for this matinee, and C.J. Wilson about as sharp as we've ever seen him. He has faced the minimum 18 batters through 6 innings. The 2 hits he has allowed immediately followed by double plays, and in between he retired 15 straight between the Pierre leadoff single in the 1st and the Beckham 1-out single in the 6th. Here's Pierre showing bunt. 1 for 2. Last time up he popped out to Elvis Andrus. His hit last night was a bunt single. Inside corner, even up. Ramirez next, and then Carlos Quentin here in the Chicago 7th inning. Gavin Floyd has allowed only 3 Ranger hits, but Texas able to bunch 2 of them and take advantage of an error by Beckham at second base, ending a streak of 59 consecutive error-free games to get the 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Runs driven in by a Moreland sacrifice fly and a Kinsler RBI single. That backs Pierre off a bit, and it's 2-2. Pierre again trying to spray that one opposite field. CJ coming off consecutive losses after his 4-1 start. Last 5 outings, 1-3 with a no decision. And again in on the fists of Pierre, who fights it off. This is CJ's first appearance this year against the White Sox. Before today, in 11 games, including 1 start, he pitched very well against him. 2-0 with a .344 earned run average. His only start against them last year, a 4-2 win on April 27th. And Pierre flips that one out to Cruz in left field. Uses the glove to shield the sun. Out number 1 in the 7th inning. Well, Saturday, the UEFA Champions League final comes to Fox with a rematch of the 2009 finalists. Barcelona looks for their 3rd championship in 6 years, while Man U looks to avenge their 2009 defeat and claim their 2nd title in 4 years. Fox Sports exclusive coverage of the UEFA Champions League final begins Saturday at 1 p.m. in high definition. Alexei Ramirez is 0 for 2. He hit into a double play, 5-4-3 in the 1st. Last time up, he flied out to Cruz. Wilson now at 89 pitches, 55 strikes against 34 balls. He has not walked a batter today. CJ has not had a walk-free game yet this year. Ramirez drills a base hit, just the 3rd allowed by Wilson. He's aboard with 1 out in the 7th inning, and last night's hero, the 3-home run man, Carlos Quentin, steps up now as the potential tying run at the plate. So far today, he has been handled. He struck out in the 1st and grounded to 3rd in the 4th. Wilson's low hit game for the year will still stand as the 2-hitter he threw over 7 innings, May 9th against Oakland. He lost that game 7-2. 2 hits, but 5 walks, and he allowed 5 earned runs. Left it trailing 3-1. Since then, he allowed only 6 hits in 5 innings against the Angels. A no decision. He left that game ahead 4-2. And then last time out at Philadelphia, just 4 hits in 7 innings. But 2 of the 4 hits were homers, and he was outdueled by Roy Halladay last Friday, 3-2. Having to make do with the 2 runs the Rangers got off Floyd in the 3rd inning. Hits now even at 3 apiece. Another pitcher's duel. It's been a very muggy day today, to be as clear as it is. There was rain all over the area last night, so it was to be expected. It was 83 degrees for our first pitch, 86 degrees now. That one misses low. 3 balls to the strike. This is where C.J. Wilson's almost fanatical dedication to conditioning really pays off, Tom, because as he nears 100 pitches now, this is what he prepares himself for. Yeah, expecting to go 9 every single time. Not that he will, but he wants to have that much gas in his tank. Oh, not so fast. Quentin ready to head down to first. 3-2. Right on the edge. And through the hole. Ramirez will make 3rd with a headlong dive. And Carlos Quentin at first base now with the first real scoring threat of the day posed by the White Sox, and the first visit by Mike Maddox.
Yeah, not a bad pitch from CJ. He got the ground ball. Quentin was just able to find a hole with it. And you go back a couple of years, and Quentin was one of the best power hitters in the American League when he hit 36 home runs. Last couple of years, not quite the same. He's had a couple of injury problems, but he looks good right now. He's swinging the bat really well.
Well, the entire infield in on this discussion. Next up is Paul Konerko, who was 0 for 2. He has struck out and then retired on that backhand flip by Wilson on the little dribbler up the first base line. 1 for 5 last night. 1 for 3 with a walk on Monday. So Wilson now at 97 pitches, forced to dig down, and ideally he would come up with the 3rd double play ground ball of the afternoon. Strike on the inside corner. Konerko has grounded into 3 double plays so far this year. You would think it might be more than that. A very slow runner getting up there in age now. 1 ball and 1 strike. We get action for the first time out in the Ranger bullpen with right-hander Mark Lowe beginning to throw. Just low there. 2 balls and a strike. Tom, since the return from the minor leagues of Mark Lowe, he looks like a different pitcher, doesn't he? Some mechanical adjustments have paid off.
Yeah, he looks much more comfortable, and the results are much different. He's locating his fastball, which was his main problem. He was throwing hard in spring training.
That could be trouble if it doesn't slice foul, and it does.
He was throwing hard during his first stint with the Rangers. He just wasn't able to put the ball where he wanted to. As a consequence, he was catching the middle of the plate a lot. In the big leagues, even if you're throwing 96 or 7 miles an hour, you still have to hit your spots. And so since he's come back, he's had much better command with his fastball, and his off-speed pitch has been a lot better as well. Looks like a different guy. You know, he said in spring training, it takes me a while to develop that command. It doesn't usually happen until the end of spring training. And this year it took a little longer than that, but it's understandable since he's coming off last season's injury.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Konerko, and a throw over to first. Quentin is there. Ramirez is at third, and now Darren Oliver joins Mark Lowe up in the Ranger pen.
When you look at the lineup, what Ron's got in mind right here is when Castro comes up, he could have a pinch hitter.
Ted Barrett at first says Konerko did not go around. It's 3-2. Good numbers for Konerko with runners in scoring position this year. 36 runs batted in. Right up near the top in the American League. That one is hit well in the gap, left center field. Ramirez comes home, and the shutout is over as Konerko drives in run number 37. It's a 2-1 ball game, and that will be the 103rd and final pitch of the day, thrown by C.J. Wilson.
And C.J. Wilson averages 111 pitches. That's the 3rd most pitches per start in the American League. He's at 103 right now, and showing a little bit of signs of getting tired. 3 straight hits. Konerko hit the high fastball right there. We've got a fresh bullpen, a hard throwing right-hander ready for a right-hand hitter right here. Ron's going to make the move.
We check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, he's appeared in 6 games, pitching 6 1/3 innings since his return from AAA Round Rock, given up just 3 hits and 1 run. You guys were commenting about how he's been a different pitcher. He says he used that time, as you mentioned, to make some mechanical adjustments, but also, too, to regain some perspective.
For me, it was a motivator. You know, I knew I had to get some work done, and I also knew I was really close to being where I needed to be. So it was actually kind of a blessing to go down there and have that opportunity to do that, you know, with the options open. You know, and we have great coaching down there and guys that can help me there. So it's a good experience. Had a good time.
And he also says he's still learning how to manage his workload coming out of the bullpen, because you don't know when you're going to be used. You have to figure out how to get your work in between appearances, and that's something he feels like since his time back in the big leagues that he's been able to manage a lot better. Guys.
Well, he throws strike 1 to Alex Rios. Rios' lifetime against him is 3 for 5 with a double. A run in, 1st and 2nd, 1 out. And that may very well be two. Kinsler to Andrews to Young, and the Rangers turn their third double play of the afternoon. And that one preserves a 2-1 lead. Only took Barklow 2 pitches to put out the fire in the 7th. In your local community. If you would like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. Dave Barnett in today for John Radigan along with Tom Grieve. Bottom of the 7th inning, and Adrian Beltre working against Gavin Floyd is 0 for 2. He is lined to center and grounded to second. 95th pitch of the afternoon for Floyd. He's thrown 60 strikes. And that one pretty well hit down the right field line, but foul, and it's 0-2. Action now in the White Sox bullpen with left-hander Chris Sale. And he's been joined by a right-hander out there as well. Rios tracking that one to the warning track and up against the wall. He finally grabs that deep drive off the bat of Beltre.
Oh, went a long way going down on one knee. It's one thing to hook it in left field. Another thing to hit a low curveball on one knee 400 feet to dead center field. Almost had enough to get it off the wall or out of here, but not quite.
And Tom, there's not really the usual jet stream today, is there? It's more right to left wind.
Yeah, the wind's blowing a little bit more now, but it's not coming in straight toward the third base foul line. There'd be plenty of days where the ball that he just hit would carry out to dead center field. But I think today it's more of an honest field. You have to hit it to get it out of here.
Cruz under that one. And the second baseman, Beckham, grabs the second out in the 7th inning. Right-hander who has joined Sale in the bullpen is Tony Pena. So they're at a double-barreled out there. Ranger bullpen quiet now with Mark Lowe taking over for C.J. Wilson.
Yeah, when Lowe came in, Darren Oliver was throwing, and I think the reason is because the hitter after Rios was Ramon Castro, and if they brought up Adam Dunn or A.J. Przinsky to pinch hit for Castro to face Mark Lowe, then Ron had the opportunity, if he wanted to go to the lefty out in the bullpen.
A ball and a strike to Murphy. Murphy leading off the third, reached on an error by Beckham. Ended up scoring one of the 2 Ranger runs that inning. Floyd just missing the backdoor curve. 2 balls and a strike. And so far, that has held up. Rangers have been out hit now 5-3 by Chicago. Murphy skies that one to shallow left, and Pierre completes a 1-2-3 7th inning for Gavin Floyd. Out 103 pitches. On to the 8th. Still 2-1. Leading off the 3rd inning, Reese on an error by Beckham, who had gone 59 straight games without one. Torrealba, a ground rule double to center. Mitch Moreland followed with a sacrifice fly, scoring Murphy from 3rd, and then an RBI single by Ian Kinsler. The Rangers had a 2-0 lead. It is now 2-1 as the White Sox got their run on 3 base hits in the 7th inning. Chasing C.J. Wilson, this is A.J. Przinsky pinch hitting for Ramon Castro.
I was talking earlier about the possibility of bringing Darren Oliver in if Przinsky pinch hit. It's much different in the last inning because if he pinch hit, there would have been a couple of men on base. Now leading off the inning is a much different situation because you have right-hand hitters coming up next. And with Oliver in the bullpen, that might keep Ozzie Guillen from pinch hitting Adam Dunn, because Dunn hasn't had a hit yet against the left-hand pitcher. And Ozzie probably would feel that Darren Oliver would be in the game.
2-1 to Przinsky. He is 2 for 3 lifetime against Mark Lowe. And A.J. hot of late, 13-game run. He's hitting .356. Ooh, just off the outside corner. Marvin Hudson, most of the afternoon, has been calling that pitch a strike. Catches any of the black at all. Instead, it's 3-1. And that one just misses. That is the first walk of a White Sox batter in this game. Let's check in with Jim Knox.
Hi, Dave. Time for the progressive fan of the game. It got the Cumbie baseball team. Comes all the way in from East Texas. Coach Mabe fired up right there. Drove the school bus. We're going to give the bag to Anthony, the catcher. Here's the bag, the shirt, the hat. Congratulations. Big catcher on the team. I think we got to give you a nickname, Pudge, as well. You can take that. How about that?
Oh, man, I like the nickname. Man, you know what, dude? I'm just happy to be here. Go Rangers!
There you go. Congratulations. Way to go.
All right, here is Lillibridge with Beltre in on the grass. Shows bunt. Takes ball 1.
Mark's got so much movement on his fastball. It's starting out as a strike and tailing out of the strike zone.
Well, that is a complete turnaround, though, from his problem in the spring and the early part of the regular season. His fastball was getting no movement. It was up to 96, 97, but it was straight in, and hitters were able to time it without much problem. This bunt is foul, and it's 1-1. Corners charging, Beltre and Young. Kinsler over to cover first. And Przinsky takes the long walk back to first base. He is the tying run aboard here in the 8th. Littlebridge has twice flied out to Mitch Moreland at right field. He was only batted once against Lowe, and Mark struck him out. This time the bunt is a good one, and Torrealba has to make sure he doesn't hit Littlebridge going down toward first base. His throw barely in time, and Przinsky advances to scoring position.
Very good bump by Littlebridge. Good technique. And the out at first base.
That'll bring up Beckham, who singled his last time up, and that ended 15 straight retired by Wilson. First time he struck out. One of 5 strikeouts for CJ. His line 6 1/3 innings, 1 run earned on 5 hits, struck out 5, did not walk a batter for the first time this year. And strike 1 to Beckham. Meanwhile, in the on deck circle, Adam Dunn.
We're talking about Beckham earlier in the game, having trouble hitting a fastball in this series. His last time up in the 6th inning, he drilled a fastball for a base hit. He must have been listening.
Beckham 1 for 5 lifetime against Lowe, and 1 strikeout. Went a little bit high, ball and a strike. Mark Lowe last night threw a perfect 8th inning with a strikeout. 6 games since being recalled 3 weeks ago from Round Rock. 6 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, and his ERA has dropped from 13.50 down to an even 5. 1-0 with a save. Off the fist over Kinsler. Przinsky had to hold up to make sure Ian didn't catch that, so he only makes third base. Beckham has his 2nd straight base hit. 1 out, runners on the corners, and Ozzie Guillen hoping that Adam Dunn can catch hold of one and turn this thing completely around.
Didn't look like Beckham had hit that ball hard enough to loop it over Kinsler's head, but obviously he did. By about 6 inches, and there's no way Adam Dunn is going to face a right-hand pitcher right here. He's 0 for 31 against lefties and 4 for his last 35. So with a lefty in the bullpen, it'll be a lefty-lefty matchup.
Mark Lowe pitches 1 inning. Got the double play to end the 7th inning, allowing only 1 run charged to Wilson. A walk, a single, and a sacrifice here, and he hands it over to Darren Oliver when we return. Coca-Cola Total Family Packs offer savings up to 50% for most Sunday through Thursday Rangers games. You can choose from upper or lower reserve seats and receive 4 tickets, hot dogs, and Cokes, plus $20 in sports park tokens and 1 souvenir program. Order online at texasrangers.com/family. Well, Darren Oliver is ready to work against Adam Dunn. Dunn last night led off the 6th inning with a home run off of Brett Tomko, 404 feet to right. It was his 5th home run of the year. But as Tom mentioned, he is the picture of futility in lefty-lefty matchups this year. He is 0 for 31. And the first pitch from Oliver up high. Oliver inherits Przinski at third base after a leadoff walk issued by Lowe. Beckham at first. And a thin 1-run lead to protect. And a ball and a strike to Dunn. Adam Dunn, one of the great power hitters of his generation. A string of 7 straight years of at least 38 home runs. That ties him for second all-time with Babe Ruth. 2 behind the all-time leader, Rafael Palmeiro, 9 straight 38 plus. And it's 1-2.
Dunn leads the league in strikeouts, and you've got a first and third 1-out situation. And if you're Darren Oliver, you're trying to throw the pitch right here that you can make him swing and miss at.
Dunn against him all time is 2 for 8. He struck him out 3 times. One of the hits a double. Double play depth for the Ranger infield with the overshift on. And the breaking ball or cut fastball just misses. 2-2.
It's where he's trying to throw it on the outside part of the plate, but it's well outside.
Checks his swing, and now a full count.
Now, the other side of Dunn is he'll strike out. You got to have it's got to be close enough to tempt him, but he also walks a lot too. He definitely held his swing back.
Toss over to keep Beckham close to the back.
That's the risk with 1 out. If you run on the 3-2 pitch, you risk a strike him out, throw him out.
And another chop foul. 60 strikeouts for Dunn this year. That is the most in the majors.
Sometimes with men on first and third, you're a little bit reluctant in this kind of a game to throw through. But with Przinski on third base, there's not quite the same threat of the throw down to second. The runner holding up and the man at third scoring.
Another 3-2 pitch, and Oliver rings him up. Out number 2.
Well, Dunn had a couple of fastballs to swing at. He fouled them all off almost the exact same way. Little dribblers toward the Ranger dugout. And then the pitch he was trying to make, 1-2 and 2-2, that was a little bit outside. Got a little bit closer to the plate, and Dunn missed it.
So after this conference, it will be Juan Pierre with 2 outs.
Now, what you have to watch out for here is a bunt, because Pierre loves to bunt. He's an excellent bunter. He gets down to first base pretty well. And of course, you've got the tying run at third base, so Beltre will play way in at third to try to keep him from doing that. Pierre will try to bunt anyway, because on the thick grass, he might be able to get it down and beat it out anyway.
There's strike 1. 13 infield hits, tied with Ichiro for the league lead. Andrus the short way, and Oliver and Mark Lowe keep this a 2-1 Ranger lead. Bottom of the 8th, 2-1 Rangers. Let's check in with Rick Renton.
Guys, we got a great post-game show coming up on the post-game edition of Rangers Live. Steve Busby, of course, will join me. Emily Jones with all the interviews. We'll hear from Ron Washington and take a look ahead to that great Kansas City Royals series over the weekend. Back to you guys.
All right, we look forward to that. Gavin Floyd will work to Torrealba, Moreland, and Kinsler, with Dallas McPherson taking over at third. And A.J. Brzezinski staying in to catch as Torrealba waves at the first pitch of the bottom of the 8th inning. And Gavin Floyd has really settled in. He has retired 15 of the last 16 Ranger hitters. Since the Kinsler RBI single back in the third made it 2-0.
Yeah, and if that inning didn't start with the error by Beckham on the ground ball that Murphy hit, who knows, that inning might have been entirely different as well. Instead of pitching to Torrealba from the stretch, he's pitching from the windup. And in every other inning, he's basically breezed through it. Hasn't walked a batter. He's been at the top of his game, and his game is solid. He's a solid second, third starter, coming off a great start against the Indians.
Outside 2-2. 7 in a row retired, 14 of his last 15. And Floyd is a workhorse. He's gone at least 6 innings, all but one of his first 10 starts now. That was 2 starts ago, 4 to third in a loss at Oakland. Meanwhile, the Ranger bullpen readying for a save opportunity for Neftali Feliz. White Sox bullpen. Left-hander Chris Sale is up for the second time. The 2-2 pitch to Torrealba, a little bit high and a full count. Yorby back in the third, double for the second straight game. 2 extra base hits now since April 30th, and Floyd misses inside, and that is a leadoff walk, and that is the first walk by Floyd in this game. There have been only 2 walks combined. Mark Lowe walking the leadoff man at the top of the 8th. The pinch hitter Brzezinski. And there is Sale loosening up as Ozzie Guillen will remove Floyd after a very quality start. 7 innings plus. He allows only 3 base hits and leaves trailing 2-1 as Chris Sale will come in to work to Mitch Moreland. At 80 pounds, string bean left-hander, native of Lakeland, Florida. First-round pick last year by the White Sox, 13th overall selection out of Florida Gulf Coast University, and he's on for the 18th time this year. He is 2-0 with a sky-high 648 earned run average, mostly because he has been miserable at home. 11.05 ERA at home. On the road, just 2.89. Mitch Moreland ready to show bunt. Throw over to first with the third baseman McPherson charging in.
Mitch had a great at bat against him last night. This kid throws from a 3/4 to sidearm angle at 96 or 97 miles an hour with a hard breaking ball. He's a little bit wild. He's walked 10 batters in 16 innings. Mitch is going to try to bunt against him this time. He gets the bunt down.
It is out at second base as Mitch hit it a little too hard for it to be directly back at Sale.
That at bat last night really was one of the better at bats of the season. He worked the count, saw 8 or 9 pitches, doubled, singled off the right field wall. And when you're a left-hand hitter facing this kid throwing that hard, knowing he's a little bit wild, not easy to bunt him either. It's hard to hit him. It's not easy to bunt either.
Well, that would have been Mitch's first sacrifice of the year. Good stretch by Ramirez on the bag at second base to retire Torrealba. And that is all Ozzie Guillen will require of Mr. Sale. He throws one pitch. Mitch Moreland, who had seen 15 pitches total in his 2 previous at-bats with a sac fly and a single. At first base, and the right-hander Tony Pena makes his way in to deal with Ian Kinsler when we return. Already this afternoon, 3-0 at Minnesota. And the Mariners have suddenly become a red-hot ball club, and they're right on the Rangers' tail. So it is a true 4-team affair in the AL West, the 4 best pitching staffs in the American League. Here's Pena, 29-year-old Dominican. And he starts with ball 1 to Ian Kinsler. Ian today 1 for 3, singled in the second Ranger run back in the 3rd inning, and that is still holding up. Pena Monday night got a very sloppy win, his first win of the year, despite 2 runs allowed in his inning. And that's in there, 1-1. On the year, 1-1 with a 627 earned run average. This is his 16th outing. And another White Sox player with a huge split, home versus road. Pena at home this year has an ERA of 2.70. Excellent. On the road, it's 10.38. He's allowed 10 earned runs at 8 2/3 away from U.S. Cellular Field. Up on in, 1-2. Double play depth in the Sox infield. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ranger bullpen, Feliz has at this point had plenty of time to get ready. Just throwing the occasional pitch, and now turning and watching the 2-2 pitch. Skied to right center field, carrying pretty well. Lillibridge reaches up on the track. And Kinsler is out, number 2. And Tom, a perfect example of the difference in the wind blowing across right to left as opposed to straight in. With a normal jet stream, that ball's in the bullpen.
Yeah, that's right. He hit that ball pretty well. It's a high fastball. He hit it about 375 feet.
And now it's Don Cooper, the White Sox pitching coach, who wants to go over the strategy against Elvis Andrus. Elvis today against Gavin Floyd was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Floyd in 7+ innings so far. Well, he will finish with 2 runs allowed as the leadoff walk that he issued to Torey Alba was erased on the force at second base. So 2 runs on just 3 Ranger hits. He struck out 5, and the only walk he issued was to Torey Alba leading off this 8th inning. Left-hander Matt Fortin, who was the Sox closer the first part of the year, now getting warm. And strike 1 to Elvis. Pena, originally an Arizona Diamondback, called up in 2006. White Sox acquired him 2 years ago. He was acquired for infielder Brandon Allen July 7th of 09. Rangers leading despite being doubled up on the hit column. 6 hits for Chicago, just 3 for the Rangers. Good looking slider there. Elvis turned completely away from it and shakes his head at the result.
It's supposed to be on the outside corner, and it was really a backup slider that never broke. Got the call on the upper inside part of the strike zone. Got away with it.
He tried to go away there, 2-2. In the Chicago 9th inning, there are 2, 3, and 4 batters: Ramirez, Quentin, and Konerko. So Feliz, if he comes in, will face the most challenging part of their lineup. Elvis now works the count full. Pena prone to the walk so far this year. He's walked 10 batters in his 19 innings. And a swing and a miss. Andrus takes the hat trick. He strikes out for the 3rd time. No runs for the Rangers. 1 left. Neftali Feliz will come on and try to nail down the Ranger win. And nailed down a 2-1 win for the Rangers with lots of defensive changes. Craig Gentry has been inserted into the game in center field. Nelson Cruz has moved from left field to right field. David Murphy from center to left field. And Mitch Moreland has come in from right to take over at first base. Neftali Feliz in search of his 10th save with a 120 earned run average. Tom, the thing that is askew there is the walk to strikeout ratio. 8 strikeouts to 12 walks. That is dangerous numbers at any point of the season for a closer.
Yeah, well, the strikeouts are down a little bit. The walks for him are very unusual. Last year, that was not a problem. But he hasn't had command with his fastball that he normally does. And really, in his last couple of outings, has thrown exclusively fastballs. I think his strikeout totals will go up as he gets more comfortable working in his off-speed pitches. Right now, if you're a hitter, you just got to go up there looking for a fastball.
That's what Ramirez got, 96 miles an hour, and he hit it right out to Gentry in center field. So now here is Quentin, 1 for 3 with a strikeout, a grounder to third, and a single last time up. Last night, his first career 3 home run game. Solos in the first and 9th, and a 3-run shot in the 3rd inning. First pitch from Feliz at 94 miles an hour. He misses away. Feliz last worked on Sunday at Philadelphia, retired the 2 batters he faced, and picked up his 9th save of the season. That's tied for 5th in the league. He had blown saves in 2 straight games before that on the trip, Wednesday and Thursday at Kansas City, and that ended a streak of 19 consecutive saves. He had not blown a save since last August 11th until the 2 games at Kauffman Stadium. Quentin trying to check his swing there, and evidently he did. It is 3 balls and no strikes.
It's dangerous when you're facing a guy like Quentin. You get behind in the count and you're kind of locked into your fastball, which you're not commanding the way you normally do.
Well, another walk. Quentin is aboard now as the tying run with 1 out. And Paul Konerko with 10 home runs and 36 runs batted in. 1 for 3 in this game. An RBI single, scored the Chicago run back in the 7th inning. He brought in Ramirez, who had singled with 1 out. And Konerko's RBI is the hit that chased C.J. Wilson. First pitch here at 96, but outside. So velocity wise, it's there for Feliz, but it has been there. In fact, one of the blown saves at Kansas City was consistently hitting 99, 100 miles an hour, but he was showing them nothing but fastballs.
Well, he's trying to keep the ball away, which is a smart thing, to Quentin and to Konerko, 2 guys with power, and he's just missing the outside part of the plate. Got a good game plan. Keep the ball down, throw it away. He's just not quite hitting the corner with it.
This is just the 2nd time for Feliz to face Konerko. And he retired him 0 for 1. He also has walked Konerko. A very thin 2-1 lead. Feliz trying to finish off what C.J. Wilson started in 6 1/3 outstanding innings. 2-0, and that is way outside again at 96 after a 4-pitch walk to Quentin. Now 3-0 behind Konerko. Tom, at this point, has Feliz been back active enough that this shouldn't be a rust issue?
I would think he's been back long enough. He's worked in games. He's had plenty of time to warm up and throw on the side. So I don't think that's the issue. I don't think it's a matter of rust. I think he, even when he went on the disabled list, the injury was not serious. He was able to do a lot of work while he was on the disabled list. So I don't think rust is an issue.
3-1. Rangers hoping for a game-ending double play here. But instead, ball 4 at 97 miles an hour. Back-to-back one-out walks. And
I think being a closer is all about attitude. It's all about confidence. And I think when you blow a save, the most important thing you hear people say about a closer is to put it behind you, forget it, and go out the next time. And what you don't know is how a blown save, or how not having your command, or not being able to work in your off-speed pitches, how that affects your psyche as a closer. And it's not about stuff as much as it is the attitude and the confidence that you have when you go out there and you say, here I am, the game's over. And maybe it's a little bit more about the mental side of it than it is the physical side of it.
There is Rangers' old friend Omar Vizquel, who's going to pinch run at first base for Konerko. So the White Sox now have the tying run in scoring position, the go-ahead run at first with one out. And Alex Rios 0 for 3 last time he hit into a double play. See if Feliz can induce another one here. Well, at least he starts him with a first pitch strike. Everything from Feliz, 95, 96 miles an hour. But he's thrown 11 pitches. That was only his third strike. Strike 2. Rios is 2 for 2 against Feliz.
Here's a situation. If you're throwing your curveball, in his case, that's usually his most common off-speed pitch. If you're throwing it with confidence, this is a perfect chance to throw it down and away, 6 inches low, 6 inches off the strike zone, and try to get a swing and a miss for a guy who's got to be looking for a fastball about 100% right here. Well, he tried it, just didn't bring it down.
One and two. Boy, it seems like every game the Rangers have played now for a couple of weeks running is just like this one. No margin for error. Brilliant starting pitching. The 1-2 pitch is looped into shallow right field. Kinsler off his glove.
Force out at second, though.
They do get the out at second base after Kinsler seemed to have an over-the-shoulder catch coming right down where he expected it, and somehow it went off the tip of his glove. But Vizquel is forced at second base, and that is out number 2.
That's an unusual scoring decision. 4, 9, 6. Force out at second base. There's nothing Vizquel could do. If Vizquel goes farther towards second base and Ian catches the pop-up, then he's going to get doubled off first base. So he was in the spot he had to be. Fortunately, Cruz was right behind Ian, picked it up through to second, and they get the second out. The only difference is it's first and third now instead of first and second, which leaves you a little bit more susceptible on a pass ball or a wild pitch.
So there's a fielder's choice that has Rios at first base. The go-ahead run. And the look to third, throw to first. 3-4 Feliz will work to A.J. Przinsky. 1 for 1 with a double in their only previous encounter. Przinsky got a leadoff walk in the 8th, his first time up today. Way high at 96 miles an hour. That is the 14th pitch Ron Washington has seen Neffy throw, and only 5 have been in the strike zone.
Well, you've got 2 balls put in play for outs and 2 walks. This is the 5th hitter and only have 15 pitches. That's pretty low total. They've been quick walks and quick balls put in play. And now more command issues with the fastball.
Well, he's missing by increasingly large margins with every pitch he throws. So he will take a moment for meditation here. Not a bad idea. He got the first out on one pitch. Ramirez flying out to center field. And 4-pitch walk to Konerko. 5-pitch walk. Or 4-pitch walk to Quentin. 5 pitches to Konerko. That one's in there.
Right now to the left-hand hitter, his fastball, the way it tails, if you can throw it down, you throw it around the knees, you make it sink away at 97 miles an hour, you take your shot. He threw that same pitch in Kansas City, and Avila's hit the little tapper up the middle. Difference between a save, a win, and a loss in that game is a little dribbler up the middle.
Popped up. Shallow right center field. Gentry squeezes it, and the Rangers take the game and the series. Both 2-1.
What you hope is, even though it was a struggle for Neffy to get the last out, to get the save, to preserve a close game, you take a deep breath, and maybe that'll shoot a little extra confidence in him so that when he comes out next time, he feels even better.
He gets his 10th save of the season. But it was way too exciting for Ron Washington. It was a hug of looked like more relief than anything else. So the Rangers take it 2-1. And they win the series 2-1. Despite only 3 base hits. Texas Rangers